what benefits you actually see accruing to startups, accruing to more newer age incumbents starting to work in this segment?
Aerospace and defense subsequently is a very long cycle business. It cannot be envisaged as 1, 2, 3 years. It generally works in decades. For aerospace and defense, and I always maintain this, that the lower you are in the tiered supply base in aerospace, the more money you make. And I'm talking margins, not revenues. So a tier 3 probably makes more margins than the platform maker.
In terms of overall private sector, I think policies have become favorable to private sector. DPSUs are supposed to, and DRDO labs supposed to do a lot of outsourcing to private sector. There is a lot of talk and a lot of this thing, but the ground reality, which I have seen very, very closely in the last 2 years, that things on ground haven't moved as much as they should have. So a lot more needs to be done. And if you just see last 2-3 years, where have the orders gone? Largely again to DPSUs.
Our own example, we have a research center in Bangalore where we actually file patents, and there are over 100, we call it request for patent, that has been filed just out of our engineering center. So it's not a question of whether it has to be allowed to stay back in India or not. That's absolutely not a problem.
From the services side, ministry side, there is still hesitancy to directly contract the private sector. From the private sector side, there is hesitancy to even absolute lack of aggressiveness and coming up with solutions to bid. They're also trying to bank on teaming up with DPSUs or happy with vendors to DPSUs. So I think that needs to change.
You cannot generate demand because demand is already there. It has to be known what the demand is. The whole issue of warfare is that in India more so, that as compared to other countries like Israel, for that largely every citizen of the country has served the military. And when they go back to the industry, they already understand what is required. And because of that, their ecosystem is that every military leader is already connected with industry. And in the wartime, they understand what is required and what needs to be innovated. And also, I think they have been doing a lot of target practice also, because it is not a country which only manufactures it. It manufactures and fights and manufactures and innovates on the go. In India, I think the percentage that hardly anybody from the industry served the military, and very, very few who served the military went to the industry. So we build two compartments in different silos. The military does not understand the industry or business, and the industry does not understand what the military requires. I think that ecosystem is changing bit by bit, but it is not yet transparent.